All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and start. Start broadcasting. All right. So this is the first ever N3rds Anonymous Podcast.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Since this is the first ever one, we're going to go ahead and introduce everybody. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so Aaron or Riddler, you guys have seen me over the past year and a half just doing random shit on YouTube and stuff and things. So, yeah. Anyway, to my left is Steven.
Hi.
He could choose a nickname if he wants. I don't really care either way.
Green Arrow.
He's Sugarbeard, thank you.
Sugarbeard.
Hey,
Nice.
hey,
I like
no
that
sugar
one.
beard. No,
All right, and
Sugarbeard.
then to my far left here we got Dallin. He's my cousin.
Hello, everybody.
These guys are probably going to be more of a staple in the N3rds Anonymous podcast and stuff like that. Mainly, I guess what we're trying to do here is just have good intellectual conversations about many different topics. Anywhere between comics and comic book, movie adaptations, book adaptations,
Video games,
nerd
just
stuff.
general nerdy stuff that is interesting to us and hopefully to you guys as well, and have legitimate conversations that aren't just a couple of whiny little fanboy brats that just complain about everything and say that the world sucks and that everything ruined our childhood.
Yeah, pretty much. That kind of covers it. We may even delve into stuff that might not necessarily even be nerdy. Different kind of issues going on in the world and stuff like that. If it's something that has to come up in topic or something that we just really want to talk about. It's really just randomness is kind of with that one, except just more of a focus on the nerd shit.
Yeah,
and of course, this is just our opinions.
yes,
of course.
Please take that at face value. This is just opinions. We're not saying that any of you have to have these opinions. If you have different opinions, great. We encourage that. We are strong believers in everybody has a right to their opinion. We love to hear and see everybody's opinions. So please, if you have different opinions than us and you want to share it, legitimately, intellectually, please share us your opinions. We love to have conversations.
Oh yeah, and we might call people stupid every once in a while if they if they have an opposite opinion of me. I may call them stupid. But
you're entitled to be wrong.
Actually, meaning that
you're entitled to be wrong. That's
you're entitled to your own wrong opinion. Exactly.
Just don't take any offense to things we say, because
exactly.
we're trying to piss you off.
I don't know if I would say trying to piss people off.
Oh, I would be trying to piss people off.
I know you would.
That's different. Okay,
that's very different. The fact of the matter is I don't think we could have a nice stream / podcast or something like that on YouTube or whatever and just show our faces. I don't quite agree with that. So people who like to watch these things will have something to watch. My kind of format that I thought of is having these different video games and stuff like that we like playing. We'll just have off in the background and try to be able to, nonsensical pay attention to it. So we're not going to really be paying attention to the video game itself.
It's more of just something
of a conversation, but something for our viewers to watch while listening to us.
Yeah, there's something
now that does lead to really funny deaths and stuff like that. We'll probably comment on some things that are happening on screen every once in a while. But
every now and then, yeah.
And if I do something awesome, I'm gonna be excited.
Oh yeah, exactly. So
and maybe at some point
like
we might try to do like an actual table discussion, like more of a traditional podcast where it's just us all just sitting around a table, just talking and having a conversation. Mm-hmm. We might try something like that. I'm definitely more. I can be more visually appealing. That's part of why I'm not quite there. I talk with my hands and my body a lot, and I don't want to hit either of these two.
He's a little bit away from us so that he doesn't slap one of us in the face.
I'm in the middle because I'm the tiniest.
It's okay, buddy.
Exactly. but yeah, so we're always open to different opinions or topics and stuff like that. If you kind of want to get our opinion on something or whatever, you can always message us on the chat or anything like that, and we'll be able to see it and we'll be able to acknowledge it. So, but yeah, pretty much since our intro now is technically there,
and been going on,
maybe
going on
eventually I'll have like an actual intro screen made up or something for us.
Gone a little too long. So if we so basically to go on to something recent, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Avengers Endgame trailer.
Sure.
I'm assuming you've seen that.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen Endgame trailer yet? Really?
How have you still not watched it yet?
Actually, yeah, no, you're right. We talked to him last night, and he said last night that he hadn't watched it yet.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. Well,
okay, so
spoiler alert. There's no fucking spoilers in this.
Spoiler alert, nothing happens.
Yeah, right.
Ant-Man and Hawkeye are going to be in it, just in case you guys hadn't seen that.
So what I'm basically getting from the next Avengers is it's the original Avengers. All the original Avengers survived the Thanos' snap with a little bit of additions. Obviously, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, you have like Rhodey and still there. Nebula is still there, but
Nebula.
That's the one thing I actually thought was interesting.
Rocket.
So at the beginning of the trailer when it shows Iron Man in the shuttle in his ship when he's basically leaving his final message to Pepper. It's like, what the hell happened to Nebula?
It shows Nebula in a following scene,
but it
seems like it's a different ship.
Yeah, like is she like did so when the snap happened, did she just like because they were the only two left on Titan, so it's like did she just abandon him? Did she just say, well, fuck you, I don't know who you are, and just left? Be fair,
that would be completely
Nebula's
character.
Yeah, she absolutely would. At least
she would totally just say, no, I don't know you.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't need to save you.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't even want to save my sister. Damn it!
I'm here just to kill this guy.
It's like what the fuck? It's like what the hell makes you think that I want to save you? So I'm interested to see where that goes. Clearly, the whole, like when Hawkeye turns around, he's like when he takes up the hood and he turns around.
Yeah, that look, man.
The glazed over look. Like if anybody, it's like if you hadn't guessed what that look was supposed to be, that clearly was
like. We're pretty much guessing, and we're
like it's almost guaranteed.
I would say 99.98% sure that his entire family is dead.
It's like so basically
they turned to dust. He had just watched them turn to dust and came to fight back.
And then you got Scott Lang, Ant-Man at the scene with just that it's like the whole trailer's dark and oppressing, and it's like now, throw him in there for the comic value.
So I've seen this a lot online and everything like that. So I've seen a bunch of, he's coming from a place and they have no idea how he got there. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp yet.
We haven't either.
Okay, so we can't even talk about that. It's all over the internet.
We actually only bought it just last week and we still haven't watched
it. My dad watched it before we did.
I think what we need to do is before our next sit-down, our next podcast, we'll watch it. We'll revisit this later on.
Yeah, actually talk more about...
So that we are fully up to date.
Yeah, on that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Was there anything else that came out between then and that?
And in terms of so they just released like the new Captain Marvel trailer, and I don't know if you guys saw it. It was basically kind of the same thing as the first one. Like, is it? I know he has the same opinion as me. How do you think the Captain Marvel movie looks? I mean, we kind of think it looks just like like it doesn't. It's not like on my radar for movies I have to see.
It's not. I personally, so I've been very, very invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because that's what got me into Marvel. I've always been a DC guy and everything like that. And then when Iron Man started coming out and everything way back in the day, that got me excited. I'm going to want to go see it, and I'm going to want to see it in theaters if I can, maybe. I don't know if I will be able to or not, but I'll want to see that no matter what, even almost immediately after it comes out. Just like I'm really upset that I've missed Ant-Man and the Wasp so far.
Yeah.
But it's because it's a Marvel movie and it's tied in. Not necessarily I've been wowed by the trailer.
It's not like it's you want to watch it just because it's like it's Marvel, I got to see what happens.
With that being said,
you need to connect the dots.
I personally think that the trailer makes the movie look better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was.
Thank you, somebody else that actually says that. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was so boring.
I mean, I understand. I like the story and I like what they did with it.
Kurt Russell is like the best part of the movie. But that's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell's the best part of every movie.
Well, even then, the Russo brothers knew it was.
It wasn't.
It was
quite
a stretch.
There.
It wasn't a Guardians of the Galaxy 1, but they needed that extra story and everything like that. I don't know if they had a more strong.
See, the thing
story
is,
with it or what. I have no idea.
I personally kind of think that the first Guardians of the Galaxy was kind of lightning in a bottle. You know, it was like they captured lightning in a bottle because they changed a lot from the comics. Like from if you actually look at like almost like none of the only character in those movies that actually acts like the way they're supposed to is Rocket. Rocket is the only character that actually, and even then, Rocket's still in the movies. He's a lot more of a dick than he is in the comics. Whereas, like, okay, you look at like Star-Lord, they pass him off as like this like Indiana Jones and Han Solo had a kid kind of thing, and in the comics, you know, he's just a soldier. You know, he put the Guardians of the Galaxy together by force without them realizing it, because Mantis, he actually used her mental abilities to kind of persuade them to join this team.
Fair enough.
And it's like, and then they all find out about it, you know, in the first volume of the original series, and you know they were pissed at him because it was like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of thing. And for me, it was disappointing. It's like, because I remember watching the movie, loving the movie, and like, oh, I want to go read the comics. So I went back and read those original comics, and I'm like, the comics are so much better. And I'm just like, why would they do that?
Okay, so one of the things I will like to argue on that one is you have both sides of the story, honestly. All right. I personally think comics are a great way to tell a story, and they give you so much freedoms that live action movies just don't give you. And they have to change those stories because one, they need to make it fit on a you know,
more
live action screen.
Yeah.
And they need to change it to make it
Appealing.
just that much that much more appealing to those who have already read the comics. Because those who have read the comics already know what's going to happen, so they got to change the story at least a little bit to keep it fresh for those guys.
You see, I agree with changing the story, and you know, especially creating your own stories. What my problem is changing the characters completely. Like the biggest one that got changed was Drax. Drax is like, you know, like the whole like the, you know, him not understanding metaphors and him being just this big joke. No, in the comics, Drax, at least the original. This is just talking about the 2008 Guardians of the Galaxy, before basically pre-movie, before like when the Guardians of the Galaxy was like, when you said, oh hey, do you know what the Guardians of the Galaxy are? And they're like, is that the one with the raccoon and the tree? You know, and it's like Drax was ruined because Drax was a ruthless, you know, cold-blooded fucking killer. Like there was one point in the first volume that he actually kills everybody on the space station of nowhere, because it's during the Skrull invasion where, you know, they're all morphed into everybody, and the only way to truly tell if a Skrull is to kill them, because they'll morph back into what they were. So Drax decides, okay, fine, I'm going to do that, and kills everybody on the station. And then
I mean, that's a little overboard.
And then brings everybody back, and basically it's like a timed thing, a timer thing, kind of like when you
brings everybody back.
Like, cause like, you know like what the fuck is it called, when like the clear thing, what is that?
Defibrillator?
The defibrillator. It's kind of something like it's like a station-wide thing. He does something like that and brings everybody back and kind of reinstarts everybody. And then they're all like, "Dude, what the fuck was that?" And they're like, "Excuse me, I just exposed all these Skrull to you now. Now we know who was who."
Right.
You know, and that it was that kind of shit. And then the other one that really still pisses me off to this day is Groot. Because in the movies they portray he's just this big dumb walking tree. He has no personality. He's dumb.
Okay, to be fair with the Groot argument there, it is, everybody thinks he's dumb. Because Rocket's the one translating. We don't even know for sure if Rocket understands him fully. Because even in the comics, you don't get that someone actually understands him fully until he meets Jean Grey.
Yeah, I was going to say,
didn't
Jean Grey do?
Because Jean Grey reads his mind and realizes he's one of the most intellectually astound people in the entire universe.
And it's like, but the whole thing is, my attitude about it is it's okay if they didn't know he was dumb, but it's the fact that he acts dumb. Like even in the first Guardian, like when you first see him and he's like doing this shit with the water fountain, like drinking, like doing the that shit. It's like, that Groot would never do that. You know, that's my thing. It's like, I can understand, okay, if they made it to where people think he's dumb because they don't understand, because all he's saying is, I am Groot, I could get people think he's dumb. And he like gets offended by it.
Again, that's another thing in movies. I think they're going overly like that and making his personality kind of look like he is just an idiot,
especially with the baby teenage Groot thing,
teenage Groot and all that stuff. I think they're going more into the fact and just trying to hammer it home that he is stupid because they can't wait for the reveal that he's not.
I hope to God there is a reveal, because if they just like the teenage Groot thing, like the baby Groot at the end of First Guardians of the Galaxy was cute, it was funny, it was adorable, but it was like in the whole second movie was just baby Groot. It was like, okay, that you're pushing it a little bit, and then they did the teenage Groot joke at the end credits. Like, okay, that was kind of funny, and I'm like, okay, Infinity War, he's gonna be Groot again, and it was like, no, he's teenage Groot, and they're running with a stupid joke that he just plays video games all day, and I'm like, okay, we get it, he's a teenager, he plays video games.
He's so...
Again, also another thing that what they're also trying to put in that regard, which I believe fully, is how he is growing, not just physically, but mentally as well, very, very fast.
Yeah, sure, I could
because
understand that.
That is a small amount of time that he is growing quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's mainly doing, and they even show that in Infinity War. They show how fast he grows mentally in Infinity War.
Oh yeah, when he
and how quickly he is willing to do in order to save people.
Yeah, like when
it comes down to it. Dude,
like
how did you get that good of a gun this early?
I always do. I always do. I always get a legendary in the beginning. Always.
That's ridiculous.
It's always this one too.
And what's funny too is, well, yeah, because that's what he drops.
Yeah.
That's what one of the things he drops. Dude, I am so unlucky with video games. I love video games so much.
I think I did it with you too.
It is so unlucky.
Because you hated me
with
because
them.
I was just killing everything.
But honestly, that's kind of just my problem with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, is because like they're trying to make everybody just like Iron Man. Everybody has to be a smartass. Everybody has to be funny. Like one of the biggest ones that like and a part
that's like That's a sad reality of Hollywood.
I know that.
Once something gets
once something's good, they keep it.
They're gonna keep doing that.
They're gonna try to go over and over and beat it into you.
Like the big.
It's the same thing with, you know what, DC. DC movies are like that. I'm saying pre-Batman vs Superman.
Okay, like pre DC extended universe, the DC movies had kind of a niche, but the problem is they never really had. They always had more quality of film than Marvel did, minus maybe like the X-Men movies. But it's like, see, like Marvel Cinematic Universe, like what they did to Thor. You know, Thor used to be what Thor is. You know, he's a good Norse godic warrior. You know, god warrior. You know, he was a badass, but he's also very intelligent, and he's very wise and honorable. You know, and then the movie, they started off like that, and then Thor Ragnarok came out because he was like the most boring character. Well, boring.
Quote unquote,
Quote unquote boring of all the cast. So like, okay, well, fucking make him rat boy douchebag in Thor Ragnarok, and there you go. There's his new personality. And to me, that's I hate Thor Ragnarok. I can't watch that movie because I am a fan of Thor from the comics. So when I watch that movie, it's fucking painful. You know, I can't do it. I hate it so much.
No, I see where you're coming. I do, but
minus when he first sees Hulk. That scene's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, that in the beginning, I do like the beginning where he's dangling from the chain. Just hold on, let me come back around. Okay, go ahead.
The smart ass in him.
Yeah, see that was funny, but even that I still like that's not Thor, but that was funny.
Yeah, they do it. They do those one-liners. They do that kind of personality stuff and everything like that because that's what appeals to mass audiences. It doesn't. It's not what appeals to the comic book fans, the ones who want a Thor from the comics and stuff. That's not what they're appealing to. They're appealing to what is going to make them money. What's going to make them money is that kind of character.
Yeah. See, that's why I also like the more newer DC movies better is they actually try to also appeal to real comic book fans, just the modern.
Like Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Wonder Woman, Suicide Squad, and all that. It was like they were actually legitimately trying to not only appease the mass audiences, trying to get everybody on board, but also have the fan service for the comics. Understand to say, yes, we understand you guys are there, because that's the problem I think with the Marvel Cinematic Universe is it's trying so hard to be a part of the mass audiences that it's alienating the fans that even gave rise to this in the first place.
I think so too, but I mean that's always going to be an issue. Always is. Now, the only thing with that one too is they also kind of painted themselves into that kind of picture too.
Yeah.
Where
I think
they
it was
backed themselves into a corner where they kind of had to continue to do stuff like that.
It was after the first Avengers because you look at there's just Marvel Phase 1. You get Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and the first Avengers. Like that is still to me the most solid of all those movies. Phase 1 to me is still the best of all of it.
Phase 1 was insanely great
because each character felt unique and different. There was a difference between them, and they still had the accuracy to the comic books while still, a bit more appealing.
I think it's like, hey,
we understand these are from comic books. We understand you comic book fans are excited. So here's this shit,
It's like here's at least something than just completely judging
than just being like, okay, we don't give a shit about the comic book. See, that's and it's kind of the same thing they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, where you could tell it was a comic book that nobody gives a shit about or gave a shit about, I should say. And so that's why the Guardians of the Galaxy movie got so changed, was because nobody cares about these characters, so we'll just do whatever the hell we want with them in the movie. And it's like, well, nobody's gonna care because who's actually a fan of these characters? I mean, it's like, who actually knows the fucking talking tree?
What's funny is they made a lot of people fans of those characters, who then went back just like you did to read the comics, and then we're like, but wait.
Struggle to watch Guardians of the Galaxy now because it's like you read the comics and you're like, well, the comics are so much better. Like, what the fuck did you do to them in the movie?
Dude, it's okay. That's one of the things though, is like for comic book movies, for book to movie adaptations, stuff like that, you kind of have to be able to consciously separate them and see them as their own thing. Like one of my favorite books that I've read is Ready Player One. And I watched the movie, and I love the movie, but it is so vastly different than the book.
I heard about that. There's a lot of
It is a lot of stuff that they cut and changed from it and everything like that. But it's the same thing with Star Wars and the extended universe and stuff like that. Like, the
pre-Disney extended universe.
Yeah, pre-Disney extended universe.
Before they had to rewrite everything.
Before they redid everything.
But you know what I mean? Like, you almost have to see it as two very different stories. Because if you do, then you're going to most likely enjoy both of them as what they are. And not just enjoy one or the other higher.
I am one of those ones, you do have to acknowledge it's not the comic. But when it's something like, I know I'm in the minority of like Heath Ledger's Joker, where he is nothing like what the comic book is like at that point it's just a slap in the face.
Yeah, and that's like the whole unpopular opinion numbered like 51.
Oh my god.
We do not really care for Heath Ledger's Joker, and it's not saying that he didn't do an amazing job, because he really did. Like it is still a brilliant and masterful performance. But when you actually look at how accurate he was to the comics, like you take like, even like Jack Nicholson's Joker, he was still, in my opinion, still played the best live action Joker because he was just perfect. He fucking owned that damn role. And Heath Ledger played a very good villain and character, but he is not the Joker. The fact that he doesn't tell jokes, that's one of the biggest things about the Joker. He tells jokes. And he makes himself laugh. Even if he's the only one laughing, he makes himself laugh by joking. There's not one joke in The Dark Knight. Minus the pencil, but the pencil thing is not even a joke. It's more of just something he just does real quick. It's not, and again, he doesn't laugh at it. The real Joker would have, if he had done that, he would have laughed. He'd have slammed his head and started laughing maniacally because that was funny to him.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger didn't do that. That's my problem with that, is like, it's, because I understand when you make a movie, especially based on a comic book, you got to try to, tweak things and change it to make it more mass appealing for everybody, but you're only going to please a percentage of the fans, but how many are you going to please? Like 80%, 60%, 20%, but you need to find that middle ground of where you can please the fans, show them that you care about them, you do respect the lore that this is based off of, but you're also still trying to show that, hey, we're trying to make this so everybody can enjoy it, not just you. Kind of like how I feel with like J.J. Abrams' Star Trek movies. How he did that, how he made it to where it's like, okay, older fans can mostly enjoy this, and we have the fan service in there, but these are also still made to just be movies. So everybody can enjoy them, but there is a lot of fan service in there, so the fans can enjoy it and have some fun.
It's like, so fans can be like, hey,
especially
look at that.
Especially in the darkness.
But I think that's what Marvel does really, really well. Because Marvel does that really, really well with all of their Easter eggs that they have in there. That's what it is. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the Adam Warlock cocoon.
Yeah, the Adam Warlock.
You know what I mean?
Which they still haven't brought up again.
Yeah.
No, you know what's funny? It's actually been shown twice. Two different Adam Warlock cocoons. So there was one Adam Warlock cocoon in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 that was very, very blatantly Adam Warlock cocoon.
We shall name him.
It was
Adam.
right, exactly. The other one was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Which one?
It was in the collector's area. Yeah. Right before they like zoom into Cosmo the dog.
Mm-hmm.
They show a gigantic cocoon inside one of the glass cases.
I don't remember. I haven't seen the
straight up looks more like the comic book cocoon.
I haven't seen
in
it
so long. Yeah, it's not like encased in gold and stuff like that. It's like the slimy, like. So you know how Adam Warlock is two people, right? The bad Adam Warlock and then the good Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Well, the bad Adam Warlock's cocoon was weird looking. Right?
Yeah.
That one is the one that I think was in the collector's
case.
Very well could be, yeah.
In the case. Does that mean that there's going to be two Adam Warlocks in the other one? Probably not, because
they're not
the Russo brothers came out and said that you're not going to see Adam Warlock until Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which isn't coming out after.
And that's actually if it even comes out with them firing James Gunn, because like half the cast, like I know Dave Bautista, he won't do it without James Gunn.
Dave Bautista,
Chris Pratt, I remember saying something about it.
I can't remember her name, but the one who plays
Zoe Saldana. Yeah, she said something about I don't want to do it without him.
How is she still on the cast? After Infinity War, how the hell is she still on the cast?
You know they're all going to come back. What I think is funny is that Marvel...
Dude, if they bring...
her back, I'm going to be pissed.
If they bring her back, it's going to be a massive step back.
Because it's like, okay, you find... Because even like, okay, you killed... It's like, because they haven't killed anybody. Like, you even look at like, okay, like, the only real death they had was Coulson, but Coulson didn't even die.
Coulson came back.
Yeah, for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it was like... You haven't had any real true deaths to get anybody invested. So like when you killed Gamora...
Agent Carter.
Okay.
I'll tell you that.
I'll give you that one.
That's fair.
She's gone.
Okay, that's fair. But it's
Howard
like...
Stark?
But it's like you give... but it's like, okay, you take like Gamora... Okay, I can understand
but
because...
no, I completely understand what you're saying.
It's like everybody that died from the snap... that disappeared into dust.
They're gone. They're coming back.
You know that everybody.
They're not staying.
They're not
guaranteed. I can almost guarantee that they are in the soul gem in the soul world.
Or they're going to do either that or
do something.
They're going to do what they did in the comics, because with the fact that in the
comics
books,
they were in the soul world.
No, they weren't.
No,
it was
they
were legitimately gone, because what happened in the comics is actually that's why my theory is what they're going to do. What the actual Infinity Gauntlet story did was Nebula is the one that actually brings everybody back. She actually gets a hold of the gauntlet from Thanos and basically brings everybody back and says, okay, I'm fucking God now. You know, this is my power now.
Now, okay, if it's Nebula that brings it back in the movies, I can see why they would bring Gamora back.
Yeah, I can see them kind of doing that.
Because she would make that happen.
Yeah, but, she'd be like, hey.
But it's
she would have easily... Because they just started connecting again.
They started actually getting along.
They started actually being sisters.
That or she actually feels like she owed her because of her stopping Thanos.
Yeah,
it could be that she felt like she owes her.
Oh,
whether she wants to or not.
Yeah, but yeah, that's honestly, it's a thing with and every adaptation is you run that risk of pissing off your fans by trying too hard to make it appealing, and that's why like there are certain things that did work really well. Like of course, like you like the Harry Potter movies that did very well about adapting the books. But also changing them enough so that way they're it's not like super detailed,
appealing massively.
Yeah, more massively. People. So it's like, okay, well I can read the books, and that's the other thing too is when you adapt something, you want to make it different so that way fans can, when they watch the movies,
have not just rewatching.
Yeah, they're not just because at that point it's like, well, why would I just go back and read the books? Then?
Exactly.
If it's the exact same, then why don't I just go read the books? That's why like I love about the perfect example of something that did that was Watchmen. You know, you have the comic, which is still by my opinion the greatest graphic novel ever written, and then you have the movie, which the movie is there. It's damn near shot for shot at times, but they changed just enough to where it's like, okay, this is still interesting.
I still like the fact that they witnessed Rorschach's death.
Yeah, because in the movie,
you guys go ahead and keep talking. I have to step away for a moment.
But it's like, Night Owl actually witnesses Rorschach being killed. He actually sees that. And it's tragic and it's eventful. Where in the comic, he's just off having sex with Silk Spectre while Rorschach's dying.
Yeah.
And it's like, and as much as I still love Alan Moore's writing, and I still get it makes sense for the book, but it is still clearly better in the movie the way they presented it. But a scene that's better in the book rather than the movie is basically like the birth of Rorschach. When Rorschach, when he became who he was, that was all who he was. Was when in the movie where he just basically grabs the meat cleaver and is just slamming this shit on his head because he's so pissed.
Yeah.
Whereas in the comic, it was so much more fucked up and brutal. Basically, he locks him up and then just is pouring gasoline, or it's either gas or kerosene, and then he throws the guy a handsaw, and then he just looks at him and he just goes, so that saw's not strong enough to cut through that chain in time. And he pretty much drops a match and just goes, I'll be out here if you can make it out. Basically saying, so in this this pedophile murderer's best case scenario is he's going to come out of there with at least 3rd degree burns and minus a hand, and have to now deal with the psychopathic vigilante that's
on the other side.
That's on the other side waiting for him. That's best case scenario. To me, clearly that is way better than the movie did it. That's the thing is when it comes to adapting stuff is you need that difference is there that actually makes it to where you can enjoy both. That way, so somebody who loves the book or the comic can watch the movie or watch the TV show and still enjoy it and go, oh, hey, that's different. Or, oh, hey, man, I actually kind of like the way they did that better in the movie versus the way they did it in the book. It's...
In no way are we saying comics are better.
Oh, damn.
Because, again, it's just how it's presented.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different medium. It's like comics that you can't do on TV. It's a way of expressing things and showing different types of style. But it's also... There's always a pro and con. In movies, you can't be as detailed.
No, of course not. Movies are a very, very different way of seeing things. And it's kind of like a... Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say.
Damn.
She's excited. But it's kind of like what Alan Moore said. It's like why Alan Moore doesn't like movie adaptations of his work, because the way Alan Moore kind of sees it is comic books are already a visual medium. Like you already are looking at art and pictures and all this kind of stuff. It's like, why do you need a movie when it's already right there? Because I can kind of get that point of view. Is why do you need to adapt something like maybe a book? Still, that's a bit more because you get just words on a page versus a visual thing, whereas a comic book is already visual. Why do you need to make a movie about that? And that's why Alan Moore absolutely hates, he refuses to watch Watchmen, V for Vendetta, any adaptation of his work, because he doesn't why do you need to do that? It's already a visual medium. And I can understand that philosophy, especially because it's there are things that get lost in adaptation because there are way more examples of book to movie where the movie ends up just paling in comparison to the book.
No, you know why that is, right? It's because something that movies cannot provide is that vagueness that you can fill in with your own imagination that books do.
Yeah, the way characters look, the way certain things are, and it's... I think to me one of the biggest examples of a book to movie that absolutely failed fucking miserably is the Hunger Games movie. To me, I'm a huge fan of that first book, and they completely lost all the grittiness of the book. They lost all the point of the book. To me, they demolished that. The fact that the injuries. It's okay, in the book she gets fucked up in that movie. Even the bee stings. They say
in the book.
Oh, sorry, the book. But it's even the bee stings in the book when she says she gets those tracker jacker stings. Oh yeah, it's the size of a fucking plum.
They're crazy.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah. And in the movie, it's no bigger than a regular bee sting, and it's and it's, to me, I personally think it's all because it's Jennifer Lawrence. She's a big star. We can't make her not look pretty.
She became a big star because of that movie, not anything else. It was because of that movie that she became a big star.
Yeah, and it's just shit like that irritates me, and it's the injuries were downplayed. Some of the points, some of the crucial ideas of the book, I feel were completely just gone. The whole idea that she doesn't give a fuck about PETA. I mean, she eventually learns to care for him as a friend, but she never looks at him as a love interest.
Yeah, no,
until the later movies.
Until the later books, but we're not talking about the third book.
Yeah.
See, okay, I love Jennifer Lawrence as an actress. She is a great actress, but I don't think they wrote her character as well as they had it in the book for the first Hunger Games. For the second and third Hunger Games, well, second and third kind of. One of the
third part 2 or part 1 and part 2.
the third movie. Okay, I loved the first Hunger Games movie so much that I was like, all right, I will sit down. I will read all of these books. I read cover to cover all of those books in about a month, which is fast for me.
Yeah.
For most people, that's like
that's a
3
week.
books in a month.
For
Come
me,
on.
that's a week.
That's like a weekend, man. Come on.
Dude, fuck you. What the hell are you
Yeah,
talking
no.
about?
For me, that's fast. And so I read all 3 books cover to cover in like a month, and it was really, really nice. I loved those books. They were fantastic. Yeah, I don't care that they were, young adult or teenager.
Well, it's just like
books, but I don't care.
That's what I mainly read,
right?
Teen, but it's like there's just such
they were all teeny bopper books.
There's such a stigma around teen books that it's like, okay, well, it's just because they're made for
you know why
young
that
adults.
is, right? The biggest teen book out there is Twilight.
Oh God.
Yeah, so that's what
I thought I'd never hear that fucking name again. I thought after those movies came out, it was like, we're done. We're fucking saved.
Nope.
It was like we're finally
folks.
We're done.
So when seeing, I still think the Hunger Games Part 1 was the closest that they got,
and that's
the closest that they got, and I still think it was a good movie. Hunger Games Part 2 or Catching Fire.
Yeah, it'd be Catching Fire.
Yeah.
So on Catching Fire, the movie, they did really, really well with the arena. Everything else about that one, they were kind of off on most every other aspect. Kind of off.
And the fact that they really in the book.
Although they did Joanna fantastic. Okay. That is exactly how
I'll give you
that.
That
is exactly how I thought she was.
I'll give you that one. But like one of the things I hated about the Catching Fire movie is they really didn't show just how bad her PTSD was. How bad she just fucking hates life.
She was just becoming just like
she was a shell.
Just like Haymitch. She didn't give a shit. She just wanted to drink.
She was a drunk.
She started to become one because of all the shit she went through.
And they didn't. They really didn't.
But they didn't show any of it
in the movie.
They still showed her in the movies taking care of Haymitch,
and that's
which is not what happened.
No, she joined him. She joined him.
It was all PETA because she was basically
becoming just like him.
Exactly.
She was becoming a drunk because
she hadn't seen.
She was also in the
book. She hadn't seen Haymitch in a month or two.
A while.
While.
Because she was also terrified, just waiting for the crap. What was his name? The bad guy.
Oh, Snow.
Yeah,
Snow,
she was just waiting for him to get his revenge because she knew she
knew
pissed him off.
It was coming. She's I know it's coming, and it's like I might as well drink my life away until he comes and kills me.
Yep.
And that's
so cost of fear.
That's something that did not get portrayed really well.
And then
and then I fall into this pretty much every single time. Okay. Book comes out, movie comes out, whatever. Mm-hmm. I watch the first movie. I fall in love with the series. I read all the books.
Ooh, nice.
And then something gets, announced for an upcoming. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're going to make it a movie. They're going to make it a TV show. Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And I fall deeply in love with that thing. And that idea. I'm like, oh my god, I think it's going to be great. I think this is what they're going to do with it. And everything like that.
You have blind faith.
My blind faith in that one. And I cannot express to you more how upset I was about the final Hunger Games movie.
I've still yet to watch it. I refuse.
I didn't even really like the book that much.
Okay, if you read the book, I still love the book.
Oh, I don't. I hate that book. I was falling asleep on.
No, it was the final parts of that book were ridiculous. It was crazy. The actual assault on the Capitol was some of the most exciting things I've ever read. It was amazing.
See, I never got that
and
far.
They did not portray that in the movie at all. Like, the the depth of what was going on. The fact that they infiltrated it. It's ridiculous. I'm going to go into a little bit of a spoiler alert territory on this one. If you haven't read the books or anything like that, do you guys mind if I talk a little bit about it?
Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So in the game, or not in the game.
In the game.
In the book, right? They go into it like the capital is yet another arena.
Yeah.
Which triggers her PTSD even more. Okay? So she's going through that with her actual lover. For some reason I can't remember his name right now. Gale, that one. So her, Gale,
that guy.
and a team of specialized soldiers, like the lead soldier, like guard dude in District 13, and everybody else, right? And they're going through the streets. They have the mutts from the first one. They have ridiculous tracker jackers that are bigger and more deadly and more poisonous. They have a wall of blood chasing them. They have so many ridiculous and crazy traps that they have to get through in the book that they did not put in the movie. They get split up halfway through. PETA is going through constant personality shifts of when he is reverting back to his brainwashed state and reverting back to his actual I shouldn't hurt you.
Yeah.
I am PETA, to his brainwashed, I need to kill you, constantly, where they end up having to hide underground for a little bit, and then they pop up, and they go into a clothing shop, basically, and then that's when they find out that there are people in the Capitol, because with all those traps and everything like that going on, the people in their homes are still in their homes. Right there, next to all the fucking action. Ridiculous, right? So they go into this clothing thing, and they find out people there in the Capitol are on their side. Because the person in the clothing shop dresses them up in their new shit, right? And she's had a whole bunch of cosmetic stuff to make herself look like a cat. That was like minor thing, right? And then they have it to where they like jump out the back or go up to the second floor or something. I don't remember exactly. And then the peacekeepers come to the clothing shop and are questioning this chick, and she is just lying out her ass for these people. She is for Katniss. She is with the Mockingjay 100%. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely shown on that one. It was really cool, and it's something that they didn't go into in the movies. I think they skipped over that entire fucking scene. I don't remember it at all. If they had that scene in there, they made it so forgettable
that
it might as well not have been in there. You know, and I think that's.
And then they get to the end of it, which is the sad part, the death of Prim, which they underplayed so much in the movie.
They underplayed the death of Rue. Right.
In the movie.
Yeah, in the first movie.
We're not talking about that. Okay, the first movie, the way they did Rue's death in that movie was a fucking joke. Okay, in the book, that shit is tragic. It's fucking tear jerking. In the movie, it was like, oh hey, yeah, all right, she dies. Okay, can we move on, please?
Yeah, it's like,
dead.
she's
That's not how you're
this
supposed
one
to
person
feel.
that we saw like in 5 scenes.
Oops.
Totally.
Yeah,
it's
no.
like,
She was supposed to bond with her that much, like so much more.
A lot more.
But that's
than that.
that's going back to what I was saying before. That's sadly one of those things. You're not gonna get that. They have to pick and choose what kind of character developments they want, especially if they're trying to force it all into one movie, 1 hour and 20-minute movie.
You know, especially like for Hunger Games, you get like a 2-hour movie. You know, I think the problem is too. I don't think Hunger Games is a PG-13 story. It is not. I think to me it is a rated R story between the way the violence is, the amount of gore and graphicness in the book. It is not a PG-13 story.
They can get away with it being PG-13 in the book. That's why it's a young adult book.
Yeah, but it's like it's still
but
clearly
showing that on film
it would need to be rated R.
Whole nother story.
Yeah, it would need to be rated R.
It
I think
can be very, very gruesome at times.
I think that's part of the problem
Like,
with the movie is it tried
The
too
mutts
hard
in the first movie were supposed to look like the dead
people.
The
hair color
and the eyes were the same.
were theirs.
You know, and
it was them.
It was their
mutated
eyes. Yeah.
into those
that,
mutts.
and it was fucked up, and it was
supposed
bad.
to be that was the big twist
of the
to show you the actual evil nature of the Capitol.
And then in the movie,
but they don't even go into that.
They don't even show that. They don't talk about it. They don't do shit.
The mutts were just
there because they were in the book, so we got to have them in the movie.
They actually showed no actual anything about Foxface.
Oh yeah, like
she was like the least important thing in the movies, where they were always scared because they never knew where she was at in the book.
If you look, our red fish over there likes to swim underneath the pebbles. Throw him up into his tank and plays. He plays in his pebbles.
Like, fuck yeah!
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Betas, man, they're crazy.
But that just kind of goes back to that original thing. Is just there's sometimes why I understand why people don't like adaptations of shit they like, because it's like. As much as you do like it and you are excited, oh hey, they're making a movie based off my favorite movie or comic book or video game. It's like 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be what you wanted. It's not going to be exciting. It's you're going to
stick to the book.
That's like you're going to end up just being pissed off and thing and all that. And I think that's the problem with movie studios is they don't try hard enough to appease the fans. They're all just about money, and I understand they got to make money. You got to make your money back. You got to do what you got to do for money because movies cost a lot of fucking money to make. But
a lot of moonies.
But they could do a better job at actually trying to innovate. It's the whole thing is like, well, people like what they like. Okay, like why the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why every character is basically Tony Stark light. Because people like that, and I'm like, see, that's the problem with Hollywood is they do not innovate. They don't change shit anymore.
Because again, what if you don't know that a character could be better? Like if you would have used the real character, that could have been the next Tony Stark.
That could have been better than what you originally presented because it's the diversity.
It's the risk thing. It's the risk factor. No one wants to take risk, especially in big industries like movie makers or major companies or anything like that. No one wants to take risks.
Just saying, video games are running into that same problem where like most games nowadays are just the same fucking thing over and over and over again.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started with the video game industry.
It's between the biggest EA, Activision,
Ubisoft.
The show Arrow they made Batman.
Oh yeah,
dude, Arrow is
Arrow. The show Arrow is Batman with a bow and arrow. That's what it is.
And again, that is what got me into comics. Actually, Arrow is what triggered my wanting to try comics.
The show.
Because actually, what's funny.
It was a fantastic show.
It still is.
If you look at it as not being tied,
as long as you
to
don't,
the material,
as long as you don't
like
see it as
said
real
earlier,
Green Arrow,
exactly,
it's pretty good.
Exactly. If you separate the two mediums to be their own thing, you will enjoy both of them as they are. If you don't, you're going to hate one or the other.
Yeah. And it's like,
period. You're going to hate something.
What's going to happen.
But it's okay to criticize it, though. We're not saying you have to distinguish it and that's the only way you're going to like it. You can criticize it saying, it strayed too far. Like, it's almost unrecognizable. You can criticize something for being bad.
Dog wants to come say hi. Watch out, Arrow. Oh my gosh.
You're going to try to get
quick interruption. Arrow, go.
Arrow, come here. Come here, sweetie.
Oh, it's my hand.
Okay.
No, she's good there.
That works.
She wants to say hi.
This one's Arrow.
Her in her weird shape.
Anyway.
But yeah, and that's just...
You get a badass thing if you walk across the chain.
Oh, you get like a badass
token? If you just walk across the chain. Boom.
One badass rank.
Yup.
But I think honestly, it's
Arrow.
It's like
no.
Like we can talk forever, never about the fact that it's just adaptations. Just they can work if they cannot work, and it's you're never gonna please all the fans, and it's honestly I think something that could do better that has such a bad stigma upon movies is reboots. They have such a stigma of reboots are always gonna be shit no matter what, and I personally disagree. I
disagree because what if it was a shit trilogy to begin with?
It's like what if it was
like okay, don't touch the classics, obviously. Like if they were to reboot the original Star Wars, I would tell them don't do that.
Yeah,
That is stupid.
My opinion is
rebooting the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, that's
no.
no.
You don't touch it.
You don't
It's
touch
not
it.
like
You
those
don't
are dead.
touch.
Those still
You
hold
don't
up.
touch the classics.
Yeah.
But some things, even if they weren't bad, can be rebooted in a good format.
Or at
it-
least
it's
you
like
can
can be.
The
Even
best thing is you can even set it up for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Or certain things like Psycho, that doesn't really agree well with newer generation.
So remake it to kind of give a new, because
As long as it's not Vince Vaughn.
We're not talking about the Vince Vaughn remake.
Well, that's why they did it in a new format.
But it's like
They did Bates Motel instead of Psycho.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
Bates Motel
But
works.
it is technically a reboot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's 100% a reboot.
It is.
But what they did was they were like, okay, well, how can we make it different to make the fans happier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's keep the exact same story, but let's go a
Deeper,
little further
you know,
back.
let's go deeper
Let's go into
into
the
it.
history of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And begin before he was a killer instead of, oh, he's already a killer in this.
Before he
Yeah,
lost
so
it.
you're doing more of a prequel.
Exactly.
You know, but
and
even-
then they follow up through it to where you get to pretty much where the movie is.
Yeah. You know,
And
you
they're
know,
redoing that kind of stuff on the screen.
You know, and-
they did a great job.
you know, in between reboots and remakes, you know, there are ways to make them work. Like, okay, like I understand, okay, like, you know, like there are certain classic movies that you don't touch, but it's also, you got to look at them and like, you got to look at the movie and go, okay, does this still hold up to a modern generation? Like, there are movies, like for me, I'm a diehard fan of the original Halloween movie,
Oh yeah.
but I understand that movie does not hold up to a lot of modern people.
No,
most
it's
kids,
not.
it's not entertaining for kids.
It's not horror enough
Anymore. So I can understand
not what
remaking.
the
But
new image
that's
of horror is.
sadly, honestly, I think is a lot of our. We're very comfortable with that kind of stuff as a society nowadays.
Yeah, everybody's become
You know
so
what I mean?
desensitized. That, like you know, people don't understand true, genuine horror anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, with me being a horror junkie, you know, it's hard for me to watch modern horror because it's garbage.
I can't. I honestly, I don't know of a single horror movie to date that actually truly terrifies me. Scares me.
There
Lights
was
Out.
Lights Out.
Out
It
was
didn't.
pretty damn
It
good.
didn't.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's
more
a good movie. It has a good couple
kinda-
good
it
jumps.
gives you
know,
kind
a
of
couple
like
good scares.
it kind of gives you a quick
I'm not
suspense.
Yeah.
talking about suspense where the jump scares and stuff like that.
Some of that
Jump
legitimately
scares.
I would tell
terrifies
I can tell you one thing right now. The few movies that I've watched in my lifetime that have truly terrified me have all come from Japan. The original Ring, the original Grudge, the Japan versions of those were utterly terrifying. America is all about gore, and gore just gives you the wow factor, and the suspense factor, and the jump scares.
I wouldn't
not
even-
the actual, truly horror.
You know, actual suspense, atmosphere, tension building, anxiety building. That is horror. Gore, like throwing a bunch of fucking blood and guts at the screen. That's not horror.
No,
what is
it's-
scary about that? I mean, it's like like if you're fucking queasy and don't like blood.
It's rated R. It's rated R action is what that is.
It's
It's
and
torture porn.
It's torture.
Torture porn.
Yeah, exactly. Torture porn to me is not genuine horror.
No, it's
like,
not.
One of the most brilliant modern horror films to come out. That it is just between the messages it sends, the themes that it has, and the genuine creepy atmosphere it provides is the Babadook. You ever see?
I have not seen Mamadook.
The Babadook is by far.
Babadook.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's called the Babadook, and it's
Sorry,
it's
not
it's an
Mamadook.
Australian independent horror film, and it is.
I've heard of it. I've heard that it's really, really good.
It's brilliant, like because like a lot
Well,
of the,
actually, I want to retract my statement. I know of one that truly terrified me in recent modern horror.
What's up?
The Strangers.
The Strangers was pretty damn
That
good.
oh my god, that was good because the thing is with Strangers is that shit could fucking happen.
And I love
That's what makes it scary.
I love the line that the one girl says when she's like, "Why are you doing this?"
because you were home.
See, that was so.
That
I got fucking
oh my
chills.
God,
Like that
yeah.
was creepy.
You're like, ah.
See, you know, and it's what I like about it is it doesn't rely on
quick,
jump
kill 'em
scares.
quick.
It's what I like about that movie is it doesn't rely on jump scares. You know,
No, it doesn't.
I hate jump scares in
Do they
movies.
have jump scares? Yes,
Yes,
they do.
they do. But it
Everything's
doesn't
gonna
rely
have jump scares nowadays because
Everything.
what people
But
will see it.
That's what people see as horror. That's what they believe a horror movie should be is filled
just-
with jump scares,
it's
and
just-
it's not.
because it's always the same setup. Like
I want to watch a movie that literally from
beginning to end
beginning to end
no
has
jump
me
scares.
terrified, and yet there's no jump scares.
Because to me, jump scares are not...
That would be the most successful horror movie in my mind.
Because
ever.
it's not... jump scares aren't scary because it's an involuntary reflex that your body has to something just jumping at you. Like, because like if you analyze the movies of horror movies that show jump scares, it's always the same formula. It's okay, so they're like a character's walking down a hallway and then there's the corner right over there. You know, it's like okay.
They become very repetitive to the point to where you can guess them too.
Yeah, and it's like the fact that okay, how you know there's gonna be a jump scare. All audio suddenly goes really quiet. You can maybe hear like the creaking of while they're walking toward that corner in the hallway or that room, and it's really quiet and you can't really hear anything. The audio almost drops, and then all of a sudden just BAM! Jump scare.
Just like you did to the
but
dog.
You know it's
like I just did to the dog.
Exactly.
But did that scare the dog? No, it just made her go, oh shit, what the hell was that?
Exactly. Well, okay. So another thing I would say too is on that is it's bad, right? You slapped yourself pretty hard. No, one of the things I would say on that one is like someone like it's not good. Okay, here's a scenario. You know, I'm trying to like word it in my mind really, really well. Here's a scenario. You are a military member. Okay, you go overseas. You see a lot of crazy shit. Okay, you come home with PTSD. Go see a horror film. What's that going to do to you?
It's going to scare the shit out of you because
depending on what it is, it will. I mean, okay, so I have a slight version of PTSD to where not everything triggers me, but
certain things
do. Like, I'm sorry, but 4th of July nowadays is ruined for me. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. I had a very, very bad experience this last year.
It wasn't like I know like those like air bubbles like you get like in packing boxes that people just will pop. I know that.
No, that actually does not bother me.
Oh really?
Yeah, for me itself, it doesn't bother me, but I know a lot of people it does. Mm-hmm. Some of the friends I had back there, you know what I mean? They had it to where any sudden loud noise was terrifying.
Yeah.
If I put myself into a position where I know I'm going to get scared, like haunted houses and stuff like that, it doesn't bother me.
Because you know it's going to be there.
Yeah.
You know it's like, okay, I know that's going to happen, so I'm prepared for it. But if it's if you're just kind of sitting there quietly, you know, and it's just a sudden random loud noise. Like imagine like, you know, you're sitting here just playing your games, watching TV, and all of a sudden you just hear BAM! Across the wall.
Exactly. See, that's also, real quick, that is perfect on why he sits over there and not right next to us, because he would have hit Steven in the face.
Exactly.
He almost did. Exactly. On the camera, it probably looked like you did. Like, straight up.
Looked like I hit him in the face.
Oh, man. But no, like, it's pretty bad because, you know, you get someone with PTSD going into it. If they aren't like me to where certain things don't affect them and every random loud noise affects them, they can't watch horror movies anymore.
Because it's like
that's
the jump
so
scare.
saturated with jump scares.
Yeah, you know,
at that point,
like can't do
movies they can't watch that.
Yeah, like
what if they were horror fanatics before the military?
And they went into the military.
And now they can't see their like favorite thing because of how the military
stupid jump scares. You know, and that's the thing is why I think jump scares are like the craze of video games of when Five Nights at Freddy's was a huge fucking thing. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy's was the lamest, stupidest fucking horror fanatic of all time because Five Nights at Freddy's was not horror. It was stupid animatronics jumping at you at the screen. That's not scary.
And
you know my favorite horror game of all time never actually released.
What was that?
PT.
Oh, PT. Yeah, dude, that demo was so good.
It's worse is like
you know you could buy a PS4 with PT on it for like $3,000.
Because
it's like the cheapest they come now.
Because like everybody downloaded the demo, then like, oh, the game's coming out, delete the demo. The game's not coming out. Oh fuck.
Right.
But it's funny is like Five Nights at Freddy's that only pans to a very specific type of fear
of just
robots.
Yeah.
No, it's also the whole thing is it's one fear factor is for people that are actually scared of something like animatronics.
Yeah. Like, are you telling me like the Smosh Ian, like, cause he genuinely kind of scared because he worked in a Chuck E. Cheese.
He felt it was very real because he actually worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. It's like, you deal with that shit. I understand what it's like to legitimately be scared of
animatronics. Yeah. One of the things, okay, Resident Evil, the original like Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, those ones, like the originals, the N64,
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2, like that one scared the shit out of me. And it was because, they had the jump scares. They had the jump scares of zombie dogs randomly jumping through the window and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was scary.
But the thing is the atmosphere made it seem like that would happen at any fucking moment.
And it was
And
creepy.
that's what made it terrifying
Again,
throughout the whole thing.
What good horror should do is it should put your anxiety level up to here and then keep it there and just have you sitting there and you're on the edge of your seat just doing this. Like, to me, like the two best examples of games, modern games that do that, is Alien Isolation and Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7 was fantastic, but I'm going to add one to your list. BioShock. The original BioShock. Scared the shit out of me.
Actually, for those of you who don't know, BioShock fan, I have my Jack tattoos right there.
Yep. The original BioShock I played. Also, Dead Space. Dead Space did really well with that too.
Dead Space, I feel like for me, I didn't.
It was a little bit more campy.
It was a little bit. It relied too much on jump scares for me. I think that's what made Dead Space kind of fall flat for me.
Fair, but the atmosphere was still beautiful.
Yes, the atmosphere. Dead Space is a very unique game.
They did a very, very good horror atmosphere throughout the whole thing.
I'll give it that. It definitely had a very good.
One of my favorite parts of Dead Space that scared me the most. There were no jump scares in that whole section. It was when you're floating in space, free floating.
Yeah, see,
trying to like reconnect shit out to the like generator or something. I don't remember what it was, but because the audio went dampened and like all you could hear was like your breathing.
It's creepy.
But it was scary. I was like,
I'm a little uncomfortable.
I'm scared.
Like,
like they didn't even put background music in that part.
It's just uncomfortable.
It was
and
like
unsettling.
Yeah,
you know? That's what makes. See,
that's what makes it good.
That's horror right there. That's what BioShock did so brilliantly.
Oh my God,
is that uncomfortableness?
BioShock 1 was ridiculous.
Like in like the shotguns, the
everybody
famous shotgun scene.
Everybody gives BioShock 2 shit.
That's still my favorite of the series.
And I'm like, okay, why are you giving it shit though? And they're like, oh, the multiplayer was crap. I'm like,
who gives a fuck about the multiplayer?
Because it wasn't a multiplayer game. They added it last minute because the developers were like, we should have something.
It's a fucking checkbox. It was like, okay, the company's making us do it. Take a checkbox. Yeah. There you go. We have a fucking multiplayer.
Which is why I like Infinite. Infinite. They were like, we ain't adding a multiplayer.
Yeah, we're doing a multiplayer.
No.
But to me, BioShock 2 is still the best of the series because BioShock 2 had the most fucking gripping story that it just it kept you invested so much.
Here's one, okay? As an action game, BioShock 2 is way better.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic. As a horror game, BioShock 1
is superior.
Beats out.
Oh yeah.
Because you are nothing
compared to this
in
world.
BioShock 1. Spoiler alert on BioShock.
For those of you who haven't played it.
It doesn't matter. You have to say spoiler alert for the original freaking Star Wars trilogy.
For
nowadays.
For like all two of you that haven't played it.
Right? Well, okay, but the thing is, you come to find out later on in the game that literally all of your actions have been made for you.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? Literally, in the very opening scene, even the letter he reads says, "Would you kindly?"
Yeah, and you can
and
even
then
see
the present
it too.
is on his thing.
Said, "Would you kindly?" You know, and it's like, and then even you getting the first weapon, you know, like when he said, "Would you kindly find a crowbar or something?" and you pick up the wrench, it's like even the first fucking weapon you grab is him telling you to do it.
Yes,
that's that shit. And again, that
is
storytelling.
That is some of the best video game storytelling I've ever seen in my fucking life.
And that's the BioShock, and that's the BioShock trilogy in general.
They made it really cool where they made you as the player, like, you find that out later on in the game. You put down the controller like,
I'm done.
You almost have I been getting controlled? Like the game controlled me. Damn it!
It's almost like
the game played me the entire time.
You almost
feel
the hell. You almost kind of feel violated,
right?
You're like, it's like I didn't decide to go into this creepy thing. The game made me do it.
I didn't want to do this
so well,
and it's just
it was great.
The BioShock 1 is so brilliant in its portrayal of creepy ass atmosphere, the gameplay mechanics.
It still holds up today.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does.
It's like 10 years old now, isn't it?
I think it's older. I think it was 2000. I think it was either 7 or 8.
Look it up.
Yeah, like look it up real quick. but it was like one of my favorite scenes. I don't remember what room it's in, but there's a room I walked into, and like a light shined on behind me, and I could see a wall, and there was a shadow, and it was like, oh, hey, that shadow effect's really cool.
Dude, no,
that's not my shadow, is it?
No, that was no. So they did that at a couple of points. One, I think I know the one that you're talking about, but they also did it in the the surgical doctor dude. Inside one of his things. One of his things after you kill him, you go into like the morgue area, and a light shines on it, and then you see in the other room like up one of the
fucking corpses
splicers hacking away at another. And you're like, what the hell?
Like, what the,
and then you turn the corner and he's not there. All you hear is the of him running off, and you're like,
oh fuck!
Oh
you.
God, when is he gonna jump out?
Fuck you, dude.
Where are you?
Where are you? My whole argument about BioShock 2 not being a horror game is
it didn't have those creepy moments.
You don't have those creepy moments. They try to, but they also put you as a big daddy.
So you immediately feel more.
The danger is not quite there.
Especially with the duel. And that's not saying anything about BioShock. To me, BioShock 2 is still the best of the series because of the gameplay and the story. But in terms of the horror aspect,
it is 11 years old. It came out on August 21st, 2007.
Oh my God.
Yep.
11 years ago. Yeah, doesn't that fucking make you feel old?
Right, Jesus.
I remember when I was like really little watching you play that shit.
Dude. Okay. Here's something to make you feel old. Almost everybody, with the exception of people born between December 9th and December 31st, everybody that was born in the year 2000 can do porn.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How did we manage to get to porn?
That's a
because that makes you feel old.
God damn, done it. Shit.
You ain't even that old.
No.
I ain't even that old.
No.
You're what?
You're
24?
I'm 25.
25, okay.
So, you're literally like 5 years older than me.
Mm-hmm. 1993.
Then I
actually,
want to play BioShock again. Talking about
BioShock is great. I have it all on my X.
I do. I have all the.
You're about my brother's age, actually.
Okay, I'm gonna call it now. I think we should go through the BioShock series as we're doing these streams.
I'm down. We can switch it right now.
No, I don't have BioShock for the PlayStation. I'll need to get it. But as we're doing this,
play
we'll definitely replay BioShock.
Do one of you take a round to play around?
Nah, I'm good, man. Go for it.
And that's back to that horror thing about video games. That's why I think video games sometimes, like modern stuff, does horror better than movies do. Because
dude, Emily wants to play VR.
That was some pretty fun shit. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fun. They did horror really, really well on that one. And even if it is just a campy, small,
cheap
little
stupid game,
Oh man, they did it real well.
It did better horror than fucking like most like big budget games.
Oh yeah.
One game that I think legitimately had potential to be a great series, even though the first one still, I think to me, is a little overrated, was Outlast. I think the first Outlast was good.
Played any of the Outlasts.
So Outlast 1, it was...
You just gasped, like...
No. This is always the most satisfying moment in this whole game.
Oh, yeah.
Blowing up Claptrap.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Outlast, it's good until you find the pattern.
Yeah, because that's the problem. Outlast has that really bad horror movie stick where the enemies are on a track. And Outlast, the second you figure it out, all horror is gone.
Because there's
at that point, it's just too easy.
It was the old man, and I was sitting there down with mine. I was like, actually, there's the pattern. He's coming back. He's like, what do you mean? Well, he goes across the hall, then he comes back, then he turns around.
He's just doing this back and forth, and if he sees you, he'll chase you. But if he's on patrol for you, he just runs on this one single back and forth track, and it's like all you got to do is just trick him, and then bam, immediately track's gone. He can't get to you, and it's over. And it's like that's what breaks Outlast.
Okay, yeah.
Is the track, and that's why to me like Alien Isolation was so fucking good. Is that
the AI that they built into that shit to learn where you like to hide is
fuck that Alien,
dude.
No,
I had an actual cucumber fuck me up. So me, him, and our buddy
This is
Tristan.
funny.
So because we had a cucumber and I just cut up the cucumber so we could all eat the cucumbers. Well, so we're me, him, and our buddy Tristan are all playing it. Well, I was hiding in a locker. Mm-hmm. And I had been in there for a while, and because he keeps rounding this room. Well, he is now all the way the hell in the other room. He is nowhere near me. He hasn't found me. I'm not even touching the controller at this point. I'm sitting there waiting for him to leave, and then I'm doing this. I do the whole really quiet crunch of cucumber, and all of a sudden you just hear, ah, boom, boom, boom. And it's like, what the hell?
This whole thing,
because it registers your sound.
No, we didn't have that on.
That's the funny part was there was no Connect.
We didn't have that. It just
conveniently happened right when we took a bite of a crunchy cucumber. It went off. It found off.
That was like
this whole time.
Just happened to do it.
This whole time, every time I got the controller, the alien never saw me. The alien left me alone.
Yeah, he had this.
Even if I was actively searching for the alien, I couldn't find him.
But yet, me and Tristan kept getting butt fucked by this stupid thing.
The alien wanted them.
He
was like, "Hey, funny. That guy, I like that guy."
We couldn't go more than 2 feet without him going like, "Okay, well, you got to go hide back in the locker." And apparently, I couldn't even hide in the locker because the fucking cucumber. Oh god, I hate that. But that's the point of like it's like what makes Alien Isolation so brilliant in that horror is the fact that we all know what a xenomorph is.
Oh yeah.
None of us are scared of xenomorphs anymore, and that game actually gave you.
Your mom.
Okay, my mom's different, okay? But
she's upstairs.
Oh, is she?
Is she really?
Yeah.
But it gave a reason as to why. It actually gave you a reason to kind of be afraid of xenomorphs again. It's like you actually kind of were like legitimately scared of that thing because of the whole one-hit kill, unpredictable. It makes you genuinely paranoid.
It learns your moves.
Yeah. It knows what
hell
you're
of a
doing.
lot faster than you can learn its.
Yeah, and the fact that it's like you never want to get up from crouch because if you so much as make one step forward in running or moving, it's like bam, down, already on your ass.
Yep.
And it's that anxiety level that you need to be kept at for a horror game to be good.
Oh yeah.
And to me, Resident Evil 7 does that same thing.
Oh my god.
Me and him can't even get
Terrifying.
past it.
I can't even beat it. It freaks me out too much.
Mansion, it gets ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
the mansion, the upstairs of the mansion was crazy.
We can't get past that part.
I didn't play Resident Evil before I got my VR. I bought it and played it only on VR. The small shack that you start in, you guys remember that, right?
Yeah.
Well, with VR and with the headset and everything on, you walk into this thing, right? And you look into the pot and you're like, oh, that's gross. And then you hear footsteps literally all around you the entire time. There's like creaks and cracks and people walking the floor above you, everything. But yet you guys know you don't face anyone until you face your like ex-fiance chick with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like you don't see anyone up until that point,
but
right?
It's the fact that it has
but
that.
You hear it throughout the entire house.
Something's there.
Terrifying.
Exactly. It has that anxiety that it raises your anxiety level.
I couldn't play on VR longer than maybe 20, 30 minutes at a time because I got 100% scared. Like terrified.
You were freaked out.
I was freaked out. Like fuck it, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Because at that point, it started messing with me psychology-wise because I would take off my headphones, take off the headset, and be like, looking around in my own room, like, there are lights on and everything. I'm like,
what's there?
Did I hear that in the game, or was that real?
when me and him were playing.
I don't know.
When me and him are playing, and the moment you open the thing and you see the hole, and you watch the video of the guy getting killed,
and
you push that,
and you pull it down and the thing falls open, it's like...
I walked out.
He walked back to the beginning.
I walked to the beginning of the map, I was done. I was going down the ladder, I was like, Nope. I'm going back up.
Fuck this.
I'm done.
No, I'm
This
done.
is how people die.
Fuck me. This is how horror movies start. I already watched a movie where a horror movie just started. Fuck this. Fuck my wife. It's not worth it.
To keep on the horror aspect of thing, I want to see a horror movie where the good guys do everything right. Everything right. Like what we're sitting out in the crowd, right? When we're watching horror.
Yeah, you don't go.
Why would you go upstairs?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you run from Ghostface going upstairs when the front door was right there?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, but what if there was a group of say 5 or 6, people who did every single thing right? They didn't do that. They went out the other way. They stayed away from it. They double tap when they try to kill someone. Like
they called for help.
Literally, they do everything right and they still end up dying
because the killer is just that intelligent.
That
is some crazy shit.
Probably some horror movie that would actually get me.
There's actually something there's something that was pretty cool that I was watching a video of the Game Theorist.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually does this.
I fucking love game theory.
He did this one part where he actually they had someone that makes this person actually makes scary Halloween mazes.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a Five Nights at Freddy's reenactment, and
I remember that. It was part of his YouTube Red Premium thing that he did.
Yeah, but he was like, you know how you make fun of that guy, the whole run and flight? That legitimately is something that happens. Like, I'm sitting here and if I would have ran down that hall, I would have been fine. I could have made it. But my fight and flight was not there. I decided to cower in a corner.
Because you get so scared.
Out of instinct, you're so terrified that you don't move.
Yeah, see, and
you freeze.
That's the funny thing in the stigma of horror is everybody's like, well, I would be smarter than that. I wouldn't just cower in fear. I wouldn't do that. It's like, no, when you're that terrified, you don't think straight.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is those who can get past in the horror movies and stuff like that. They get past that I'm terrified, cower in fear stage, and they start to run. But that's when they start making the stupid ass decisions.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I just thought it was cool that that's something that actually does happen. That they show in horror movies. People do that. Mm-hmm. People make their dumb mistakes.
The very first, Scream. Very first Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Barrymore's character in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She was just dumb.
Yeah.
They made that character dumb.
See, but that's the thing is, Scream you can't necessarily qualify Scream in terms of looking at horror movies or making dumb decisions because Scream was a satire. It was making fun of the fact that people do stupid shit like that.
Yeah. He made fun of his own movies.
Like the fact that you get when Sydney's talking on the phone with Ghostface and she goes, "Why not? They're all the same. Some big bested bitch who can't act is always running up the front stairs when she's going out the front door when she does the exact same thing." Scream was making fun of the fact that shit like that happens. It was satiring it.
Fair enough.
That's why you can't notice it. But you look at actual legitimate horror movies like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw.
Don't even get me started with Friday.
Friday the 13th went on way too goddamn
kids.
long.
No, those kids. Okay, Jason should be a hell of a lot scarier than he is. Mm-hmm. He is a supernatural being at this point. Mm-hmm. He's come back from the dead so many times. He can just randomly appear. He is a supernatural being.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at this point, he's no man.
I think if they were to do a reboot of Friday the 13th, they can make the horror movie that scares the shit out of me. Because I believe Jason Voorhees, the way that they have made him in lore and everything like that, can be the guy that still is triumphant, even though they make the right decisions.
Because again, there is no stopping someone that can't die.
Yeah, it's to me
he's always gonna get up. He's always gonna come back.
That's why to me Michael Myers was always scary. Like why Michael Myers is still the superior of the slasher genre of killers is because he's genuinely scary. You know, the fact that you don't know what his motivations are. He just fucking snaps as a little kid, kills his sister, and is just this quiet, this boogeyman. You know, the fact that
what makes him more creepy is that he is a man, but he is so supernatural. For some reason.
Somehow he's ridiculously supernatural,
yeah.
He's a man,
I get it.
but...
I get it.
You know, being shot the original 2 movies, shot 6 times and burned alive.
Yeah.
And didn't fucking die.
Yeah.
Like, that is scary, and you don't know why. You're like, why the fuck did he survive? How did he survive that?
How? Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
but that's why Jason is fucking terrifying.
You know, because again, this supernatural.
Because Jason is the same way.
He's a fucking Jason is like is the fucking super zombie.
Yeah, he is a super zombie.
When he first came
honestly,
out,
the second Friday the 13th. No, he wasn't a zombie. It was the second Friday the 13th that made him a zombie because they killed him, they buried him, and they
actually no
stabbed him with a metal pike.
It was the sixth one.
Was that the sixth one?
The sixth one is one that happened. Basically, it was the first. The first one is his mother, and then you get 2, 3, 4 are.
Oh, that's right.
No,
the first one it looked like he drowned again.
Yeah, because basically it was 2, 3, and 4.
Well, the first one was Pamela.
No, how does he die though, or quote unquote die?
So basically,
in the original movie,
yes,
he just drowned in a lake, not being watched.
Because that was
Pamela killing everyone.
He was just a plot point. He wasn't. Yeah. Jason wasn't a part of the original movie, other than being just the nameless thing. The reason why Jason's mother's killing everybody. Yeah. The second movie is where he came back as the killer, and he had the sack head. That's before he even had the hockey mask. He had the bag, the sack over his head, and then he got.
I need to rewatch the Friday the 13th series. Wow.
Yeah,
right.
And then the third movie, the third one is where he gets the hockey mask, and then he gets basically like an
that's
axe,
what you want to come out
the
the
head.
door.
And then the fourth movie, he wakes up back in the hospital, and it isn't. And the fourth movie is where he legitimately dies. The fifth movie is it's almost not even a Friday the 13th movie because it's not Jason. It has nothing to do with Jason. It's like a guy dressed up as him trying to kill people. So the fifth movie you can almost completely just admit and never miss anything.
Yeah.
So the sixth movie is where he actually gets legitimately brought back to life and he is a zombie now. He's where like he could take fucking shotgun blast to the face and it ain't gonna affect him. That's when that started, and that's when 7, 8.
No matter how campy it was, I still think Jason X was really cool.
I love Jason X.
Just
I don't care for it as like a horror movie, but damn, it was like a cool suspense.
It was a fun
suspense action movie. It was good.
As a fun like guilty pleasure movie.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
It's fantastic.
Because
it's so great.
It's lightly self-aware too.
Oh, it's super self-aware because they do the whole camper thing when he's in the simulation, where he just is like, okay, ties him up in the freaking sleep bag. Wham! Wham! It's so great.
I still think this room's funny.
So funny.
What's that?
Oh yeah.
The jerk off room.
Yeah, the jerk off room.
Yeah.
All the tissues and Mad Moxie pictures.
It's just like how Mad Moxie is pretty much the only celebrity on there, because she's hot.
Oh yeah.
I made Dallin walk in there while we were playing because he had never played this part. I was like, "Hey, Dallin, go walk in that room and just take a good look around." He's like, "Why?" Just really be observing. He's like, "Oh God, I'm standing in it."
That's what I was like, "Oh God, I'm standing in it." And I like walk back out. And I'm like, "Why did you make me go in there?" I was making jokes. I was like, "It's fucking it's stuck to my foot."
Oh man, that's great.
It's everywhere.
See, there's those times where you just want movies and games that are all serious. Then there's games and movies like this where you're like,
you want to be ridiculous.
This is just fun.
See, okay, a genre of horror and just good movies that I fucking love is B-horror movies. Movies that are trying to be stupid and they succeed. Mm-hmm. Like one of my favorites is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I love that movie to death.
Zombievers.
Oh my god.
Spider.
Yeah, big ass spiders, hilarious.
Dude, okay. Before it became like a big thing for B-rates to be cool.
Where'd you go?
8-Legged Freaks.
Oh my god, you're 8-Legged Freaks. And I think it's funny, so many people go like, "Oh, that movie's so fucking stupid, it's so dumb." I'm like, that was the point.
That's what made it great.
It was the filmmakers went out trying to make a stupid movie.
I'm so scared I sold my gun.
At least they have a buyback feature.
No, I didn't. I just thought I did.
Oh, no, I'm saying at least they have a buyback feature if you did.
But you gotta think how expensive that'd be.
Yeah. It would be very...
It'd be more than I would have ever had.
No, you probably could have, because you're already out-leveling it.
True.
Technically.
But with it being a legendary...
Yeah, you'd still be able to afford it.
True.
Anyway.
But yeah,
no, that one's great.
I love 8-Legged Freaks.
But no, like... There's a good one that I watched. I watched it on Netflix. It's Tucker and Dale.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, that's so great.
I love Tucker and
the
Dale versus
Babysitter was funny.
The Babysitter, that's another great one. Because I love just that B movie status where
the
movies
Babysitter isn't even a B movie.
B movie. It's a comedy.
It's a comedy making fun of horror flicks.
That's what I loved about Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
It's
that whole
you're misconceiving this.
Yeah,
they aren't
as in a
actually
way.
evil and killing people.
Yeah, because it's like, because you get like, it's like you've all seen those backwood hillbilly movies where it's like,
I like how Tucker goes to the cops and he's like, I don't know what we're doing, but every time we turn around, another one of these college kids is dead.
It's like these college kids are just killing themselves
left and right over us. It's weird.
It's like we have had a doozy of a day.
See, and I love that, and it's like it's that self-aware, just making fun. Like, okay, the best.
Dude, this goes to our other conversation yesterday. Alan Tudyk is amazing.
Yes, Alan Tudyk is brilliant, man. That is one of my favorite actors of all time. Why do you got to bring up Wash right now?
Because we talked about how sad that scene was.
So yeah, so for all of you out there, we were having a conversation yesterday about like sad deaths in like movies, TV shows, video games, something that actually like legitimately made you cry. And we were looking through my movie list, and we saw Firefly, and he goes Wash, and I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch! Why do you got to freaking bring up that?
I still need to even watch those. We made a deal for me to watch those movies, and we never actually completed it.
Firefly is amazing though. Like it is.
I hate my Captain
But
Flint.
it's like, okay, like for me,
you get off me.
So
the fight with Captain Flint is probably one of the harder actual like boss
because he
fights
becomes
in the
immortal.
game.
So to me, I think
he doesn't become immortal. He actually takes damage when you're up close, hitting him in the head. So when he's on fire like that and he's quote unquote immortal, you can still damage him by hitting him in the head. But you have to get criticals in order for any damage to actually happen. I know a lot about this game. I have beaten it like 8 times.
It's like, so one of my favorite.
I actually haven't.
I know a lot about this game.
Still,
like a lot.
Tiny
Most
Tina.
of
Tiny Tina is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, do you know Krieg's Tiny Tina's dad?
That's the theory.
It's
a very strong theory.
It's the strongest theory I have ever seen, and I have seen weaker theories get confirmed.
Oh yeah, that's when I was watching this guy trying to disprove it, and all of the things he kept saying, I was like, "That
you have to make stronger jumps to disprove it.
Yeah,
You can
that's what we prove it because me and him were watching it because this was the first time he heard of that theory. I was like, and I saw this like, how is he not Tiny Tina's father? I was like, wait, that's a stretch.
No,
he's like, how is he Tiny Tina's father? That's a stretch. No, the larger stretch is that he's not.
And it's like trying to disprove it.
That's the hard part.
That's where.
I was so close.
One more shot.
One more shot, and I would have barely made it back.
No, it's great. I love stuff like that. I think there is a big void in really good space sci-fi books and movies.
Do you know what's actually surprisingly
a good one? A really, really good. You know what I mean?
True
like
sci-fi.
Everybody goes to like
Star Wars or Star Trek.
The originals, like Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the thing is,
there's no good modern ones.
There's no really good modern ones that aren't just reboots. There's no good new ideas.
Probably full health dick.
Books, it's even harder. It's like Star Wars and the Star Trek fan fiction, Star Wars books, that is the extended universe and stuff like that. And then there's stuff like Dune, which is amazing, but that's like that's it.
Yeah, that's old as shit.
That's it. I mean, you get the cool campy stuff like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which, in all honesty, is probably the most different than any of those ever.
Yeah.
If it was more action-packed and more dramatic and stuff like that as a book or a movie or something like that, that would have filled my void right there. But I'm sorry, going towards something new and stuff like that. There's actually a show that's on TV that I've been watching on Netflix that kind of works for me. It's called Dark Matter.
I've heard of that.
It's actually really good. It's very, very Firefly-ish. It's a lot like Firefly in that regard, but also very different. I think Firefly did theirs better. and they definitely had a better budget. But Dark Matter works with what they got. Damn it.
Yeah.
What actually me and him enjoy is actually it's a joke comedy and really makes fun of Star Trek, but it actually kind of works as its own. Was the
Orville?
Orville?
Seven
Oh yeah, dude! I
Orville.
cannot wait for Orville
season 2. Yeah, that was a great
comes out
show.
this month.
Because what I loved
I
about
didn't know that.
Yeah, the 31st.
what I loved about Orville was the fact that yes, it was a comedy show, but
Something like that.
what I loved
End of the
about
month, though.
what I loved about Orville is it actually is more focused on being more of a space, like Star Trek-esque show, and comedy second. It doesn't rely on the comedy to be a good show.
Exactly, and I honestly I think that's a lot of people see Seth MacFarlane as like.
He's Family Guy. That's all he's about.
Yeah, he's Family Guy. He's A Million Ways to Die in the West and stuff like that. But if you look at it, even A Million Ways to Die in the West brought comedy second. It was more or less telling the story first.
You know, and
Liam
it's
Neeson with the flower in his ass was pretty funny.
No, don't get me wrong.
I'm
There
just
are
kidding.
some funny ass parts in both Million Ways to Die in the West and Orville, but when you look at it down to the nitty gritty, each one of them is more about the plot and the story, and will get more serious if they need to. They don't frequently need to, but they will
if they have to.
If they have to. Like, I'm sorry, you don't get a serious show when you have freaking oh man, what is his name? He plays he plays in Parks and Rec. He's like super health nut dude. Oh my god, why can't I think of his name? Oh, that's bad. Okay,
Parks and Rec's
yeah,
a
like,
bad
yeah.
choice.
I love
haven't-
Parks and Rec,
yeah,
dude.
we haven't seen
I
that
watched
show.
Parks and Rec just as much as I've watched How I Met Your Mother.
Oh my gosh, I cannot count how many times I rewatched
Yeah,
How I Met Your
Mother.
Yeah,
Mother.
and
Good
I watched.
God.
We were watching that this morning.
Yeah,
I got
that's-
super sidetracked from just one episode.
Yeah, like, literally, he was just coming to wake me up, and then he's just standing there. We're just both watching the show. You know, ugh.
Oh,
But yeah, like
Brooklyn
honestly,
Nine-Nine's
there is a
amazing.
lot of that void
Yeah.
of sci-fi that it's like there's no good modern day sci-fi
Ah,
classics anymore.
Rob Lowe, that's his name.
Rob Lowe.
When you get to a point to where literally the captain and the first mate have a threesome with Rob Lowe as a blue alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there isn't that serious.
It
You know, but it's
doesn't
like,
get that serious, but in that
But
same
it's like-
episode, they also look at a more serious note on how a past relationship and working with that person in a close proximity could really affect you.
and it kind of
Yeah.
fucks with you a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, especially like, it's like, oh, hey, my ex-wife is my first mate. That shit's kind of hard to get around, you know? It's
like, how
especially
do you
my
handle that?
my ex-wife
Exactly.
that
It's
cheated
kind
on
of a
me.
pain in the ass. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh wait, and now the guy that she cheated on me with is also
On this shit.
on
you
the
know?
ship because of some science thing.
Yeah, you know, and it's like,
And
He's like the only one that could do it. Like that's where they kind of set it up to, and it's like, well, shit.
you know, that's why I do
I
legitimately.
mean, is it convenient? Yeah, that's
Oh,
fucking
it's
convenient
absolutely
as hell.
convenient.
But
especially, I like how they
to make it comedy work and also bring in a point like that, they had to make it convenient.
Like I like how she took it as the whole oh yeah, the pheromones are what made me cheat.
Mm-hmm.
When it actually, if you look at the evidence, not at all. Because this
Oh
time
no,
around,
100% it is. Because his pheromones make everybody on the ship do crazy
yeah, but
shit.
she said the first time.
The first time, yeah.
First time they kind of, she tells her, yeah, I guess that should have been what did it, but the way she said she thought about when she first cheated on was, she was constantly worried about
Yeah.
what happened. Where the second time is like
Yeah.
all of her mind was just consumed by him.
Yeah.
So it really shows that. Actually,
But it
the first time was
also
more.
affected the captain. It affected everybody on the ship in that regard. Whereas the first time she cheated on him, yeah, no, it wasn't.
She
just
even
the
says
pheromones.
that. Yeah, she's like, yeah. I honestly believe. I like to believe that there was no pheromones that affected her at all.
That she legitimately
That
cheated
it
on
was
him.
she legitimately cheated.
I think even in that episode, because I don't remember that episode strongly or anything really, other than a few parts of it that were just really funny.
Yeah.
I think she says that. I think she says that it wasn't the pheromones.
She asks him, and he kind of gets this awkward, yeah, probably. Like,
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
thing, he didn't want to tell her, no, it wasn't the pheromones.
Yeah. Fair enough. I can see that.
I like that. It's the whole thing is it's a show that actually has deep moments besides its comedy.
Honestly, the Horrorville, sadly enough, is one of the only good sci-fi things we have nowadays, and that is meant to be a comedy, not a legitimate sci-fi, and that is sad.
Dude, no. A sci-fi.
Yeah, that's like lightly ripping off Star Trek,
right?
You know,
well, like a sci-fi. It is very
heavily ripping off Star Trek.
It's a heavily Star Trek satire. Now, I think an actual like sci-fi epic in space is needed, and I think would be really cool.
You know, because like it's like video games are one, you know, another thing. Like,
that's a whole other thing.
Because of course, like we had like the conversation yesterday about like the greatest, Mass Effect, the greatest fucking modern day sci-fi trilogy ever.
Oh yeah.
You know, to me, it's Mass Effect is superior to Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean it's a damn good story. It's kind of hard to argue with how video games are seen in today's society. Still,
they're not viewed as proper forms of media. They're just like, they're just for gamers and teenagers.
No, if you're an adult and you're a gamer, if you're a gamer adult, you are looked at immediately as, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, you're a fucking loser. You play video games. You know, like the video games have that stigma that it's just, you know, you're a loser.
Are we better than we were the last like 10 years or so? Yeah, we are. We're getting there. But as of right this second, sadly, we're still viewed as...
Oh, you play video games? Wow, you have no life.
Exactly.
I was about to make a joke saying, like, it's like, you know, I bet most of you, you know, it's like the stigma, like, you know, living in their mother's basement, but both of us live in our mother's basement.
Right?
All three of us do
live
in our mother's basement. Yeah, you live in my mother's basement.
Exactly.
That's not the same fucking thing.
Yeah, but you gotta look at it at another way, though, too. Is like, in that stigma, they are saying, hey... You know, those living in their mother's basements are just mooching off of them. They don't have anything going for them. They just do anything with their life. Whereas all of us have jobs. We all pay rent. We pay other bills. We have a lot of responsibilities.
It just
happens.
happens.
And we don't end up gaming all as often as we probably want to.
Because we're working so damn much, you know.
But...
Hell, half the time I barely even play games. I'm sitting there just watching you.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like it's the reason why a lot of gamers or even just people in general, you know, end up just living with their parents for so long is because society has made it fucking impossible to survive on your own. Like you have to have a roommate. If you don't have a roommate, you got to get married so you can have a wife or a husband who can help support. You know?
Yeah, they sit there and say like. You know, back in my day, I was able to, you know, provide for my whole family on $6 an hour. Well, if you do the calculations on stuff and the cost of living increase and everything like that, if you look at $6 an hour back in the day, it had the same buying power as $18 an hour.
Where nowadays it's like...
Whereas most everybody that would be getting $6 an hour are normally getting about maybe $10 an hour now.
Yeah. If that. It's like you might you are...
Our minimum wage here in the state is
$7.25.
Which is...
I thought it went up to $7.50.
No, they brought it back down.
They brought it back down?
$7.25 an hour.
$7.25 an hour. It's ridiculous.
That's that shit. It's like it's why most of us can't fucking survive without having roommates. You know, why a lot of kids like like us, you know, only being 20. It's like, of course, we're going to stay with our parents for as long as we can.
Plus, with the whole also society's thing on what is needed to have a good job too. Mm-hmm. Like, you either need to go to school for another freaking 4 years
and bankrupt yourself
for your life.
Yeah, you have to bankrupt yourself just to get to school.
Mm-hmm.
Or
and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get a job out of going to college anyway.
Yeah, no. Or another thing on that one is they're sitting there saying, "Oh, we're looking for someone with experience
in this field
and without working in that field
and the college degree."
Yeah,
they expect us to work unpaid or paid, barely, internships while we're going to school and stuff like that, so that they can get away with barely paying us a livable wage while we're going to school. That way, when we get out of school, we can do that. Literally, there are some people in America and other parts of the world that literally can't afford internships. Mm-hmm. Because if they aren't in a good position, like I'm not in a good position to be able to do something like that. Exactly. Even though I am going to school. Because I have responsibilities that I need to do. I have bills to pay and everything like that. I cannot... Literally,
you cannot
afford to do an internship because I need to be able to get paid.
Yeah, you need
because
money.
of rent, phone, car payment,
gas,
and food.
The only way to do stuff like that is basically if you become one of those people that it's like work becomes your entire life. Like you're working 7 days a week and 9 times out of 10 working every single day of the week plus going to school like at night or something. Or having
going
night
to
jobs
school online.
Yeah, and it's that kind of crap. It's like wonder why most kids of our generation, like me and him, we're high school dropouts because we can't take it anymore. Because the schooling system is a fucking joke. Society has become a joke in terms of how it teaches kids to prepare for things, how it teaches young adults to prepare to become an adult.
One of my biggest gripes about the school system and everything like that is they sit there and preach college and everything like that, but not once do they say a trade job is a good job.
Going to a trade
construction,
HVAC.
plumbing, HVAC, welding, stuff like that. That is a lot of stuff that you could do that doesn't require. They require a little bit of specialty schooling, like a trade school.
Yeah, but
But those are only like 6 months to a year sometimes.
And they're nowhere near as expensive as a university.
And you know what's funny is people go to make over $100,000 a year doing that shit.
And all you got to do is just be okay with a little manual labor.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is manual labor.
Needed.
It's lost. That thing is most kids are just spoiled, entitled brats.
And not to mention, just being in high school, they expect you to get perfect grades. They expect you to do school activities. Half the time, they expect you to get a job while you're still in school. They expect all this, and and expect. Oh yeah, you have your free time too.
Yeah,
and it's
it's what's funny is what you were saying before you got to like the jobs and stuff like that. The schooling and everything with that is, who was it? It was someone else said it really, really good. It was, I think it was like Albert Einstein or something like that. But it was if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking it's stupid.
Einstein.
Einstein.
And it's that exact thing of why,
you know what I mean?
It's
if you expect it to
trade
do something
schools,
it can't do,
stuff that you want to do. Like a very successful mechanic can make a damn good living.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. And it's
specialty mechanics. You're set.
Especially like what
you're fucking set.
A big field that is always often goes underrated is small engine mechanics. Most people can do like cars and trucks and all that kind of shit, but it's like small engines, like lawnmowers and other kinds of tools. Like it's like I worked at tool rental at Home Depot. I worked with a small engine mechanic, and he could make more than even like an actual car mechanic could, because small engine mechanics are so much more sought after because they're more rare. Like my dad who was a mechanic for 15 fucking years of his life doesn't really know how to work on small engines.
Yeah.
It's that kind of shit is like, as long as you're willing to put in the work and, do a little manual labor, you can make a fucking good living off of that.
Hell yeah.
And that's the problem.
Hell, I'm working for a construction company right now.
Yeah. And
I look at Excel spreadsheets. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
Like that's my job. You know what I mean? I balance out their financials for each job that they're doing. That's about it. It's nice. It's a decent job, and I get paid fairly decently. You know what I mean? But it's like, what's funny is I'm doing less now than I was when I was in the military. I was getting technically paid less in the military. I was a network administrator and a video teleconferencing lead scheduler for a ridiculous amount of time. 6 years I did that. I barely got paid like jack shit. Like if you did the math and everything like that, I did not get much. I like maybe $25,000 a year.
And you still got
30 max when getting, BAH and all, calculating in all the other stuff.
Yeah, and then it's like and you were making more than you are now.
No, I wasn't making more than I am now. Right now in my life, I'm making technically more than I was base in the military.
See, that's
only reason why I was getting paid more in the military than I am now is because of my housing allowance.
Yeah, that's true.
Is the only thing, because in Hawaii, it's expensive as shit to live there.
Yeah.
Having not on-base accommodations for myself and stuff like that, it is hard to make a living out there on just base. So when looking at that kind of stuff, I am looking completely and utterly only at base pay, not any of the extra food allowance, housing allowance, stuff like that, because that's when the military gets their bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's a good thing to do that, and that's where the military actually takes care of its military members, is those bonuses. Some things I don't agree with on some of that stuff, but a majority of it, I was living a pretty comfortable life while in the military. It was nice.
And the sad thing is it's the whole like society, being broken and forcing kids to do shit they don't want to do. There's so many kids that end up joining.
Hey, that's why I joined, though.
Exactly.
I literally joined the military because I am too broke and too stupid to go to college.
Exactly.
By myself.
That's the stupid shit is like...
And I didn't want to be in debt for the rest of my life.
Exactly. And it's like there's so many kids that join the military, whether it's the Army, the Marines, Navy, Air Force, they go into the military because it's like, there's nothing fucking left for me because I can't get a good job, I can't take care of myself, so I'm going to go make a career in the military because at least there I have something.
And at least there, it's also the thing is free college.
What's funny is...
Yeah, and like, I can get college for free.
Yeah. What was funny, too, is in the military, I was able to join the military 2 years before I was legally able to smoke here.
Damn.
Ain't that some bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah, and to me,
I can't even smoke a fucking cigarette.
But you can...
Here.
Yeah, but
I can lay down my life for my country.
Yeah. And to me, that's just... See, and it's like it's...
I didn't get put into those kind of situations. I mean, there were a couple of times where it could have ended up being that way, because like I was in the area that the USS Cole was attacked. But the majority of the time, being in the Navy,
you hardly see any action.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do, but it's from a distance. It's not right
not
up
like
there. It's not the Marines. It's not the Army.
You're not
like,
there.
You're not boots on ground.
Yeah,
there are some Navy that are boots on ground.
Yeah,
some of my job were boots on ground. Some of the medical guys is huge. They're boots on ground. The construction guys, they're all boots on ground.
Yeah.
But not everybody is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's not a lot of big like air combat or anything like that. And so our Air Force and our Navy air guys, they're good majority of the time.
No.
Other than, missiles.
Yeah.
Ground to air defenses.
Mm-hmm.
But like we haven't had I don't think we have, but I was never big on military history or anything like that, so I don't know any recent military history of, stuff that happened to, like, any of our aircraft. Yeah. So there was a couple that was, like, it got shot down because it flew through restrictive airspace or something like that. Off of Korea, I think? What was it? I don't remember. But, like, the USS Cole, it was attacked by a freaking garbage, like a freaking rowboat practically.
Yeah,
a small little speedboat thing.
I remember hearing about that. And it's...
Well, it happened before It happened before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Happened in 1991 or 2.
I think it was 1.
Something like that. But it was in the area I was at.
Mm-hmm.
And tensions were getting high again when I was over there. So... You know what I mean?
There's a little bit of that, it can be scary sometimes.
It can be.
And that's...
I was, like I've said to pretty much everybody else, I was on a minesweeper. It is made out of wood and fiberglass. Like, I'm serious!
No.
Oh, nice, okay. I totally thought you were laughing at
it's made of wood and fiberglass.
And you just start laughing. It's funny, a lot of people don't realize that, though. Like,
not all ships in the Navy are like that big strong.
But it makes
steel,
sense. It makes sense on why we were.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I mean. Like going through the Straits of Hormuz in the Middle East, you have Iran on one side and Yemen on the other, and they always have people watching you when you're going through because they don't trust. And he turns around. Okay.
I'm like, oh no, fuck this.
Yeah, you're gonna come back now?
Yeah, it's weird though. You know what I mean?
It's
it can be scary sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, going through the Straits of Hormuz was scary.
And that's the thing I hate about, because especially, when the people that join the military because they willingly do it because they want to serve, they want to do good, they want to do that, that's great. But it's fucked up that there are so many people that feel like they have no other options but to join the military because, it's like, I'm broke. I can't live society. There was even a point a couple years back, I even thought about doing it because it was like, I can't fucking afford to take care of myself, and at least if I join there, I'm going to have a bed and meals. Something we don't have right now. Our fucking fridge is...
Sadly, nowadays, is getting pretty damn selective on that, too, because they wouldn't have let you.
Yeah.
Because nothing against you or anything like that, but they don't accept high school dropouts. Do you have your GED?
No, I don't.
So you would have had to get your GED at the very least before.
Yeah, before you could do it.
Before signing in,
Exactly.
you would have had to get your GED. Which I understand.
They want you to have
why they're more
selective
on that kind of stuff and everything like that.
Again, the need is not as high as it used to be.
Yeah,
exactly. But it's that fact that there are so many people that say, okay, well, I finished high school. Now what do I do with my life?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Get a job?
We need to make a major decision in our life way too damn early.
Exactly. And it's
and society puts the pressure on you to make that decision.
And the worst part is they don't give you in school. They don't teach you what you need to know.
Yeah, high school doesn't teach you.
I can find an area of a triangle, but no one actually taught me how to pay bills.
No one taught me how to balance a checkbook, pay bills,
pay taxes,
watch my money, budget really well.
Yeah.
I mean, I was lucky. I did have a budget class. But I don't remember really anything from it because they had to teach you the exact same way without actually being practical.
Exactly.
Because they can't.
And in in school they make that.
No one taught me how to do taxes.
Exactly.
My first year of doing taxes, I was just turned 18. I was terrified. I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
That was me.
I ended up having to pay someone to do my taxes. And walk me through the process because I had no idea how to do that.
Because the schools don't teach you that shit. They don't teach you how to survive in life.
And I always thought it was so funny is that in school they're like,
how many people actually think that stuff like blinker fluid is an actual thing or headlight fluid?
More people than you would think would raise their hand. That's the sad thing.
That's the sad part. That's the sad part. But I legitimately think a high school or something like that in your senior year should make everybody have some sort of class that is more or less home economics or life skills, a life skills class.
Shit.
I've heard of some high schools doing that shit. Those people are happy that they did that. But it provides them stuff like taxes, balancing a budget, and stuff like that. Changing your brakes, changing your tires. You know what I mean? Minor things that most everybody should know how to do.
They don't even teach sex ed anymore, for God's sake.
They teach abstinence.
Yeah, they'll force you to teach abstinence instead of realizing kids are going to have sex. So let's
teaching abstinence. Teaching abstinence does not work.
No.
What it does is it shoots up the curiosity, which makes people want to have sex more.
Because
so what they're doing is causing more sex. In the long run, causing more STDs and unwanted pregnancies because they're not teaching how to operate safe sex.
No, they're teaching you. They're blatantly telling you don't do it. And that's the thing is, you don't tell teenagers not to do stuff because you know what they're gonna do. They're gonna go and do it.
Yep.
I always thought
because they're kids. They're rebellious. They do shit you tell them not to do,
Damn straight.
All three of us have done it.
Oh, hell yeah.
when we were that age. It's like when you go through that stigma of people are like, well, you can't do this. Well, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. Fuck you.
Right? Fuck it.
But it's like if you give somebody control of their life and you tell them, okay, you can choose what you want to do, and
especially as a teenager because they're trying to find themselves and they're trying to make their own independent decisions at that point.
Yeah, and when you treat them like babies and children. Yeah, it's like, of course they're going to go out and do it. And it's like, okay, and the ones that's like, they're going to go out and have sex. They're going to go out and do this shit. Teach them to be safe about it so shit like unwanted pregnancies and STTs don't happen.
I always find it so funny, too, is that school tells you, okay, everything you learn here is so important. So what we're going to do, we're going to make you wake up early in the morning when your brain's not working, come to school, expect you to eat when you have no time to because you still are waking up, and do all this when, hey, guess what? You're not going to be awake for another, 5 hours.
I wasn't. I was lucky to be fully aware through the first 2 periods.
No, they had. I don't remember where it was. It was another country, I think, Sweden or something like that. Their schools start at 10 instead of 8.
Yeah, they'll start at 10
Just
o'clock.
just that 2-hour difference is
enough because it gives you
insane.
plenty of time to
and
wake up.
they end at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It's
that
not like 10 and then you go till 6. It's like no, you start at 10, you end at like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a shorter day and you start later in the day, so you have plenty of time to wake up, eat your breakfast, have a
but
morning.
what it is what's funny is like they expect you to be able to do those kind of things. Like you're in charge of eating your own breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you know what I mean? They don't provide a breakfast or anything like that for people.
Unless
but
you have to
they provide a small lunch. They provide basically a cafeteria, meaning, like area for you. Whereas, it's like, okay, you guys have about a half an hour break in between these two classes. Go and have a lunch or socialize or whatever. A majority of kids don't have food until they get home.
Because they can't, he was one of them.
Not just... No. What I'm saying is, not just because of the fact that they can't afford it. They could afford it and they're not doing it because they're there for that short of a day.
Yeah,
where they don't have those breaks in between like we do and stuff like that. Their classes are pretty much just cut and dry,
quick,
boom.
In, out, learn the thing for the day.
And they have
out.
They have better scores.
Oh yeah, hell
way
yeah,
better scores.
There's a reason why every other country in the world beats us in school.
Not every other,
but like most of the big ones do.
Yeah.
And it's
I agree.
And that's the reason why me and my sister were talking about this today. How much she's struggling in school and she doesn't feel like she's legitimately learning anything because you don't. You're learning. It's like
what you're learning in high school nowadays is you're learning how to take a test at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You're learning what's on the test, and you're learning how to take that test, and that's it. And once you get and do that test, you're out.
On to the next one.
Yeah. On to the next.
On to the next thing. On to the next test.
Yeah.
That's not
It's
how you teach people things.
No,
that's not how kids learn. Nobody's gonna learn how to do shit like that.
Right?
Ever.
And I always think it's funny is when the teachers say, "I dismiss you, not the bell." It's like, what if I have stuff in my locker all the way across the school, just to come back to this other class I gotta take, but
That's
you
on the
decide
other
because you're waiting for us to not leave because you want to dismiss us, not
I'm
the
now
bell.
late for my next.
Now I'm not late for my next
class.
class, and now I'm gonna get, let's say, because you keep doing this. This is now an incomplete grade that I have to pay to fix.
And then we get to that other class, and that teacher makes a scene. Why are you late? In front of everybody. And you tell them, oh, it's because my last teacher told me that the bell didn't dismiss us. She did.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, well, you need to stop making excuses. Take responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is your fault. It's
like
no one else's.
Reason 151 that fucking high school is a joke. The dropout percentage is becoming more and more and more every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
kids can't take high school. And it's a damn shame.
It is. It really is. Oh, man.
See, my personal opinion is I think they need to teach you basic forms of writing, math, and science, but have the rest of those higher grades, make that your choice.
Who fucking needs to learn calculus unless you're going to, engineering and, a field that requires that?
That's
why do basic kids have to learn calculus?
Why not make more classes that actually can help them go into other careers and have that as hey, you can take this and these are your options, but we just need you to take these base. Now the rest is your choice.
I think high schools. Here's going to be a controversial topic for you. I think there should be. I think high school itself should stop at about 11th grade, and then your 12th grade should be either college prep courses or trade school.
Exactly.
To where you aren't necessarily yet to that age to be out into the world, but at that point you're given an option
to prepare
for it. Either you can go to college. You can go to college if you want to be a doctor or an engineer or a
lawyer
computer scientist or a lawyer or whatever it may be. But those of you who don't want to do that and just don't want to go through another 4 years of school can go through this last year of school,
which is basically preparing you for life,
which gives you a certification in the field that you are interested in.
Yeah, or even just a
basic,
construction.
Yeah, or mechanics or plumbing or whatever it may be.
Or even just a basic life lesson class that will teach
no,
you economics.
That's when everybody has to take the life lesson class.
Yeah.
Is during that as well.
Yeah.
So you have your trade school and then you also have your college prep class and stuff like that. But kids would then have to take a life lesson class.
Why do I need to learn Spanish when I don't even plan on going outside the country?
I honestly think the reason why we need to learn Spanish in America is because of the culture. We need to be able to.
I just meant as an example.
Talk to people.
Why do I need to learn French? Why do I need 2 years of a language that I don't ever plan on using?
Mm-hmm.
When I could be learning things I need to learn first. I need to learn how to budget money, but that's not required.
Mm-hmm.
What's required is 2 years of a foreign language.
That it ends up becoming a useless skill. You just end up
half
learning.
The kids that take that class.
No, but the thing is, I'm sorry, but the thing is I think in today's culture, I think it's stupid that we don't learn more than one language. Everybody else, every other country in the world, they are required and they start way earlier than us learning a new language. When they are young, in elementary school, they start learning 2, 3 languages.
Most of the time
every other country in the world. America is the only one that's not doing that kind of shit. Canada is a big one. They do English, obviously,
and French,
but they also do French.
And it's
Spain. Everywhere else, they pretty much do their native tongue and English.
Yeah. So people are prepared, but it's and it's
we are given an option for 2 years foreign language as a minor. I honestly, I think it should be more. I'm sorry to disagree with you on that one, but I honestly think it should be more, and I think it should start back in elementary.
Honestly, I can understand that point of view.
I don't think it should be required to graduate. Like our school,
I think
we had to take 2 years of a foreign language.
So I think by the time you get to high school, you should already be fluent in it, and then it shouldn't be a requirement because you already know another language.
Honestly, I can understand the point of view because it's America is so intolerant of when you get people from Mexico that immigrate over here, that it's well, they need to learn English and they need to speak our language, and it's why don't you learn theirs so you can help teach them English better? There are people out there that.
But what's funny? No one treats Americans like that when they go to France or Germany or whatever. It's not an American coming there on a trip,
and it's
and go, oh, stupid American needs to learn our language.
Mm-hmm. No, they don't teach them like that.
They already know English,
and if they don't,
most of the time,
and it's and if they don't, they will work to find somebody who does.
Yes.
Not treat you like not treat you like shit because you don't understand what they're saying.
Some countries will.
Some countries do. But
it's because our country is a big bully.
Yeah, that's because it's if somebody treats you like that because of if they treat you like shit because of that, it's not because they're doing it because it's of the stigma thing. It's because America's shitheads and they know it, and we're gonna treat you like shit because odds are you already gonna treat me like crap. Yep. It's why most of Europe fucking makes fun of us, especially now with who we have in office. But that's a discussion for another time.
I'm actually going to ban that.
That
topic on this podcast.
I think we've gone into a little too much of political thing in this one. I was actually gonna say I think we're might call it. It's about 2 hours.
Yeah,
in.
We're at about a little over 2 hours. I think here's a good stopping point. Like I said though at the beginning of this, we probably won't stick on nerd stuff, but we'll stay on
as much as we can, but
as much as can.
But
it's still a good conversation though. It's still a good conversation.
I do think majority of politics we should avoid.
Political, actual politics, yes.
Some
real world issues. That's a different.
Yeah, real world issues fine, but
because real world issues involves politics sometimes.
President.
Yeah, but the majority of stuff, I think,
we're avoiding the
as long as we stay open, and if we start getting into something that one of us deems as
inappropriate,
a possibility of getting to a point of
blowing out of proportion,
ridiculous argument where it's just going around, talking about who's in office, talking about the fucking stupid way as our government is ran and shit like that. Small little quips here and there, like I do.
I mean, that's one thing.
That's one thing. But having a full-on debate about it
is
in this kind of setting is probably not the way to go.
We're here
that's
to
not the way to
have
go.
fun, talk
Exactly.
about nerds.
Yeah, I personally think we delved off a little too much from that, but that's for the first time. This is just one thing.
Yeah.
But so anyway, thank you everybody.
But it was still a good conversation.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for the few people that were there. Thank you all for
come in, go out.
come in and go out. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed us rambling and ranting for
Right.
for 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
We probably steered course topic way a little too much.
A little too much.
Near the end there.
A little bit.
So maybe next time we'll try not for 2 hours, and maybe we'll try to keep it shorter.
Yeah.
Maybe if we do longer, 2 hours, we'll try to stay more focused on what this is more supposed
I think
to be
what
about.
we'll do is we'll try to cut as close as 2 hours as possible for each one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
If we run a little bit longer or shorter than that, oh well.
It might be
But-
just because the conversation is good.
Exactly. But I mean, more or less, I think this was a pretty good first podcast. So, but I don't think we're gonna be on like a strict schedule. Like this is the day we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like that,
Well, there's a
just
school-
because of work schedule and stuff like that.
Scheduling.
I think I'm pretty much the only one that has guaranteed weekly days off
I do
right now.
not.
You do?
My
Okay.
days are always
Always set.
always
Okay.
set.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So thank you all for watching.
But yeah, thanks, guys.
This has been Nerd Anonymous, and y'all have a good night now.
See ya.
Yeah. All right.
I'll just stare at the camera.
Staring at the camera while we're closing the broadcast. Ta-da.